podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Welcome to Scarlets Fever, the home of Suspan Central and Westerer is Besterer.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Scarlets Fever podcast. Joining me, Big M, is the wonderful, dynamic superstar that is Catboy. How we doing, bud?
I'd like to tell you how I'm doing, Mark, but unfortunately it's had a copyright strike.
Oh, no. No, what's happened? But that doesn't sound good.
I can't tell you. I thought it was mine. I thought the memory was mine, but it turns out it was actually somebody else's. There was no way of me knowing that. There was no clues, but somebody else has written in and claims that my memory is actually theirs, and I'm not allowed to use it.
Oh, that's terrible. I've never heard of anything like that. But okay. Instead of how are you, how has your week been? Can you tell us about your week?
I can tell you about away weeks. Yeah, it's been good. For people who know. Yeah, it's been all right. Busy. Scarlets didn't play this weekend, so nothing to be angry about. Nothing to be confused or upset about.
Hang on.
Apart from maybe
you've got a little bit to be angry about, but we'll get to that.
Well, we'll come to it. But yeah, no, not bad, mate. How was your week?
Well, as we all know, I was sunning it up in Cornwall, not Devon. I do not know where Lee got Devon from. It was clearly put in the group, Cornwall. I passed through Devon and all, but no, not this time. No, I had quite an up and down week. Going with the 5 kids is always pretty hectic. But did you watch Britain's Got Talent?
No.
No, neither do I. But they had an actor on one, like a ventriloquist, Jules, I think her name was. She was on there a few years ago, apparently. Well, she was looking for, an audience member to torture. And guess who that was? It was me. So I ended up with a gorilla as a girlfriend, which might be...
So have you been on Britain's Got Talent?
No, I should be. I think I could have a...
No, I mean, so are you going to be on telly? Do I need to
No. Nothing like that. It was about a holiday park, bloody little show at the end. But no, I was taken up on the stage and I was rightfully embarrassed, dressed up like a cowboy, stuck a hobby horse between my legs, and then one of them ventriloquist masks over my face. And I was redubbed Monkey Man. So Monkey Man and Catboy, it still works. So
still works.
Yeah, so we'll see how that plans on.
It's an odd duo. They don't inhabit the same places, apart from, I don't know, maybe Michael Jackson's house or something.
I don't know. I think a monkey might, do some naughty things to a cat, as in, grab it by the tail, swing it around and stuff. It seems like a sort of thing a monkey would do.
Yeah, I can't see them being friends.
Nah.
My cat doesn't like other cats, let alone monkeys.
Your cat's a robot, no wonder it doesn't like anything. Nah, Thistle's real. We're a Thistle fan club here when Lee's not around, so happy days.
Exactly.
Okay, so straight in, community rugby, and if you listened last week, Lee did miss out some things. It's not a double week, so don't worry about that. The only thing I am going to point to from last week is Llandafri had a debutant in Sam Potter, who played for the Scarlets under 18s last year and has been playing for Ammanford all season. So, congratulations to him, young man, full-back fly-off. He's been doing really well. And another debutant for the Carmarthen Quins in their awesome victory over the Pontypridd was Yori Badam, who, and I'm quite impressed by this, in the last 10 weeks, he's made his debut for Scarlets under 18s, he's made his debut for Tenby, and he's made his debut for Carmarthen Quins. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind of a time for this young man. And he impressed so much, he kept his spot for this week. So let's touch on that now. So obviously the Drovers were in the cup final. We'll get on to that in a minute. But in the Premiership, Carmarthen Quins travelled to Cardiff. They had a fair few academy boys with them. Lewis Morgan, Iestyn Wood, Lucas Ataro, Yori Badam, Gabriel McDonald. Then they had Alfie Evans-Fetchy and Ellis Price on debut on the bench. And, well, I don't quite know how to say this. They beat Pontypridd 22-20 the week before with Archie Hughes and Charlie Titcombe in tow. And they were sent back to the Scarlets for some reason. We've got no inclination as why they went back, because obviously no game this week, no game next week. So, surely you'd think they need the game time. And it was a massive shit show. Oh my God, just see it. I didn't look at the updates till it was about 5 past 10 past 3, and it was already 42-0. And you'd think that Peel had been selecting, the squads with, the way they bounce it in and out.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense whatsoever. Finished 77-7, so, desperately disappointing for the Quins after, a good win the week before. But, no consistency in selection. And, that's been a problem for us. It's now a problem for Quins.
It's, the strategy of, it's not obvious to outsiders, let's say. For people on the outside looking in, it's not immediately understandable why we release players to mainly Quins when we are playing and then call them back into the Scarlets camp when we're not playing. It's I can understand that maybe they want to have 15 on 15 matches in training or something, but you would think that now would be the time of who needs game time, get yourselves down to the Prem. And I think, moving forward, if we're going to have the EDC, which we are, the strategy for when and who gets released to Drovers and Quins, which, the whole point of the EDC is it's going to be a development competition designed at building players for the regions. So the primary purpose of Llandovery and Quins next season will be to supply players to the Scarlets. We need to be told this is the strategy for what players those two clubs get, and the players that they get will be primarily Quins and Drovers players, and only called up to the Scarlets if we have an injury or they're playing particularly well.
Yeah, and that's what it should have been for years. This is what you would have thought it would have been since the inception of regional rugby, but it hasn't. And with the unfortunate demise of a club or two over the last few years, we are now down to 2 senior clubs in the EDC, so they're going to have to take on quite a lot of boys next year. It's going to be a tricky watch, I think, if you get down to those first few games. But no, like you said, if there was some sort of thinking whether or not it was like 4 on, 2 offs, just anything, any sort of pattern that we could try and find to make sense out of this, but we just can't. So other Scarlets boys that we had on show this week was Ollie Close for Ammanford and Ellis Payne for Ammanford, who was making his debut from 15. Ellis was playing for the Scarlets 18s a couple of months ago. So, congratulations to him. He had a bit of a shove in the tunnel after the Ammanford game, so I bet he enjoyed that. Let's get straight into our results then. So Championship West, Ammanford put up a really, really good fight at home against Brecon, going down 32-17. Llangennech lost 33-24 at home to Bottomine. A bit of a shock that was, Llangennech really had stepped up this second half of the season, but they're already promoted. So, I didn't have a look at their 20 or 22 or whatever many they put out. So I don't know if it was a weekend squad with some youth boys or whatnot. And Narberth, after a couple bad weeks, they went full tilt up in Newcastle Emlyn, winning 66-7. Fixtures for this week for the Premiership, Carmarthen Quins are at home to Ebbw Vale, Llandovery are away in Aberafan. Fixtures for Championship West, Llangennech are travelling to Dunvant, Narberth are travelling to Meister Quins, Newcastle Emlyn host Brecon. It does not get any easier for them. And Crymych are away to Drabanos. Down into 1 West, the lovely Buryport Kidwelly derby, and Buryport lost out 21-31 at home. Declan Smith was outstanding for Kidwelly, former Scarlet scrum half. So it's one of those games where the area, how close these two teams are. They are literally, town to town next to each other. I think there's only Pembrey, which is a part of Buryport, in between them. That's how close these two towns are. So it is a massive, massive derby, and Kidwelly have got the bragging rights by here. Aberystwyth went down 16-8 away to Gosainan. Good result for them considering the season they've had so far. Wellinville lost 49-10 away to Gowerton. And the biggest result of the day was Whitland losing 24-22 at home to Pontedilais. And with that loss, they are confirmed relegated to Division 2 for next season. So games for this week, we got Aberystwyth at home to Kidwelly, Wellinville at home to Pencloud, Llechley Wanderers back in league action against Pontedilais, and Henley host Bury Port. One West Central, Brynaman lost 12-8 away to Wilth Wells. They're lying at the bottom of the table now, Brynaman. They're only a few games left. They really need to step up now if they want to survive and stay in this league for next season. On to 2 West, and Lampeter did Tenby an almighty favour, beating Lacher 33-15 at home.
Yes.
Tenby won 15-6 at home to Fishguard, which basically means they've got a nice clean run in now. There's no reason they shouldn't be promoted. I think they need 5 or 6 points from the last 3 games. To Christ lost 17-18 at home to Carmarthen Athletic. Milford Haven against Armagh United was postponed. Armagh just have not been raising sides the last few weeks, and it's really disappointing and difficult to see as this club really ran away with 3 West B last season. To see them now not being able to raise a side. And in the best game in this league, St. Clair's winning 36-15 at home to Mumbles to be crowned Division 2 West champions.
Hooray!
So happy days, St. Clair's. 2 years on the bounce going up. That's good work from all the team down there. Fixtures for this week: Lacher at home to Carmarthen Athletic, Milford at home to Fishguard, to Christ travel to Mumbles, Tenby travel to Ponteberem, and in a very tasty, very big match to celebrate St. Clair's championship, St. Clair's are at home to Lampeter. So a nice top 4 game for there. Down into 3 West A, Aberaeron won 80 points to 0 against St. David's. Now, I know Aberaeron are in that top 4, that pack at the top fighting for promotion and the championship. But St. David's have had a really good season and did not see a result this bad coming for them. But, end of the season, so who knows? Who knows what's going on? Larne against Haverfordwest in Haverfordwest won 32-26. So Larne have really taken another step towards that top spot. They've got a lot of games in hand to be played, but they are prime right now with this result. Pembroke won 29-15 at home to Llanybydder. Fixtures for this week: Larne are playing on Wednesday against Pembroke Dock Quins. Then on the weekend, Aberaeron are at home to Cardigan, and Larne go again at home to Llanybydder. In 3 West B last week, on the Wednesday, Llandibby lost 41-15 away to Llangadog. Then on the Saturday, Betos won 15-0 at Trimsaran. Cefneithin 35-11 at home to Furness. Tumble went down 23-8 against Llandilo. Really hit the promotion opportunities there. Llandibby lost for the second time in a week, scoring 15 points again, but going down 25-15 to New Dock Stars. Happy days, who? And in the final game for 3 West B, Binya won 26-24 against Tregaron. Fixtures for this week: Cefneithin at home to Trimsaran, Furness at home to Betos, Llandilo at home to Tregaron, Tumble travel to Llandibby, and Binya travel to Llangadog. Over in 5 West Central now, Pontiates winning 50 points to 10 away to Pantavannan. Games this week, we got Pontiates at home to Cwngrach, and Pennebank, who will face the new reigning Division 5 Cup champion Seven Sisters in Seven Sisters. So that's our league action, and we've got a lot of cup action to get through now because, like we said, Lee didn't want to do the Youth Cup finals last week, so we'll have to do them now, and we've got the tasty action from this past weekend down at the Principality. So we'll go with the Youth finals from a couple of weeks ago. In the bowl, Cardiff Quins won 31-14 against Gowerton. In the plate, Carmarthen Athletic, Youth Plate champions, winning 34-22 at home to Bargoed. And in the main event, in the biggest one of them all, in the main cup final, Llandilo won 26-20 against Tonmawr. So congratulations to both Carmarthen Athletic and Llandilo. One thing I want to pick up by here, because I'm going to talk a bit about the Wales under 18s because they've had the festivals. But these youth boys, they are the same as the under-18s, obviously. And Carmarthen Athletic and Llandailo, they've both won. This could be the biggest moment in a lot of these boys' lives, regardless of how far they go. And the schedule in the season meant that 2 of their players were actually out with Wales under-18s during this. So they've missed out on winning a major cup with their friends. So I know it's Sam Williams for Carmarthen Athletic and Jack Pritchard for Llandailo. So I think the structure of the season needs to be looked at a little bit in terms of when these finals are played. Because, even if you're going to go on and play for the Scarlets and Wales, winning a cup final with your friends, there's absolutely nothing like it. And it's a shame these boys had to miss it. On to this past Saturday now, and the Division 5 Cup final was on first. We go from 5-4-3 up to 2. And like I just said, Seven Sisters were winners, winning 27-15 at home in the Principality, 27-15 against Dinas Powys. Newport Saracens came out top, 24-23 over Tonna. That was a lovely game to watch. I will say, over this whole weekend, including the European Champions Cup games, these cup finals in the Principality have been outstanding, and these are just amateurs playing. Division 3 Cup final went to Cardiff Quins, winning 24-21 against Blaenau. Llanaran walked away with the Division 2 Cup final, 44-3 against Porthcawl, and that rounded up the action for the Saturday. On the Sunday, then we start again into the big time now. So Division 1 Cup final, Llanelli Wanderers against Gleneath, and quite honestly, I haven't seen a game like that in a good while. It was fast-paced, high-intensity, physical as you can get, especially in the first half. And then into the second, the kicking battle that was on show is something I'd like to see us do, quite frankly, because the standard of kicking was so much better than what we used to watch in the Scarlets. The Wanderers clinched it in the end, 22-19. What a tense final that was. It had everything you could possibly want for it. Championship Cup final then, Bargoed kind of walked it 65-12 against Ystrad. And now the main game of the weekend. So I know who watched this one. And so we'll get into it with Llandovery against Merthyr for the Premiership Cup 2024. Before we get into it, we had 2 boys playing in this game. Cian Abraham on the starting and Max Page on the bench. So Llandovery went really experienced to this game.
Shall I go first?
Go for it, Bert.
Firstly, the WRU could have watered the pitch. It still had the stencil of the Guinness logo on it from the Six Nations, and it looked like it hadn't had. It wasn't in great nick, was it? It was. I know it's had a lot of games on it lately, but
to be fair, I don't understand why they order the games that they do. So what is supposedly the best game, the highest standard, goes after 6 games over the space of 24 hours. The Division 5 teams, they got to play on the best pitch. That's how this weekend was worked out. And I got no problem with that, but it didn't do, the teams justice, the type of game it ended up being and all.
It was a scrappy old game. It felt like a very stop-start. It felt like it went on for about 2 hours. Drovers far from their best performance this season, you'd have to say. I think I don't know whether you can quickly check what the results have been in the league between these two, but it certainly hasn't been this close.
Yeah, Llandovery won, I think, 2010 away. And I did have it in my head, but it's disappeared now. That's blimmin' typical. They won 38-12 at home. So the smallest gap was 10 points in Merthyr.
Yeah, so to win this by 1, I mean, they got the job done. I mean, you can celebrate them, one of our clubs has done the job and won the cup, so congratulations. But I think it's just kind of, we expected them to win
comfortably
with a bit of panache. So, oh well, job part 1 done. On to the double now.
Well, technically they are double champions as it stands because they're reigning league and cup champions, but obviously same season does make it a bit better, doesn't it?
Where does the Prem final get played? Is that at the stadium, or does it get played at one of the grounds?
Home grounds normal. Well, it was last season,
right?
Because it was down in Cardiff where Llandovery decided to just put the Rags in their place. And they're going to get an opportunity to do it again as it stands, unless Merthyr. And it works out that Merthyr is the team that can mess up Cardiff's chances. I bet they're going to love that, especially with all the EDC malarkey that's gone on down in that region.
Yeah.
You told us not to bloody apply for it. Now you're going yourself. They're going to smash you out to the playoffs for that. That'll be an interesting game. I think that might be coming this week. So that's going to be tasty. So for all of you that don't know, there's been an under-18 Six Nations festival going on out in Italy for the male players.
How many teams in it, Matt?
In the Six Nations, there's 8 teams. Yes, it's 8 teams in the Six Nations in Italy. But if you come back to Colwyn Bay with the female players, there were 6 teams in the Six Nations. So
fantastic.
2 Six Nations, 1 Six Teams, 1. Should we just have 7 and be done?
So to be clear, there's 2 Six Nations, there's 14 teams in total, and one of them's got 8.
Yes, right. That's about right.
Yes, glad that's cleared up for everybody.
But that's not as tricky as it's going to get. I mean, you both know that. So we'll start with the female players, just because I haven't had a chance to watch these games, so I'll get through it quickly. I'm really sorry. I wish I had. So on match day 1 and match day 2, everyone played 2 games. And they were 35-minute games each. So, basically a half a rugby against each team for the first 2 match days.
This is why it's been so confusing on Twitter. People talking about that Wales are about to kick off and could have sworn they just had full time.
Yeah. And then on the final day, they played a full match, which doesn't make sense to me. So on match day 1, we played France and Scotland. We lost 34-0. Sorry, that's the wrong result. I'm reading it from the wrong place. What am I doing? We lost 31-12 against France. For us Scarlets on the bench, we had Stella Oren and Fionn Davies. Then we went on to play Scotland, and we won 12-0, which, as great as the result is winning, if you see the results of the Scotland team, it's not that impressive. But for this game, all 4 of our players were in the starting 15. So Stella Oren, Millie Gearin, Rhiannon Griffin, and Fionn Davies. On match day 2, we played Ireland first and lost 14-5. We had Stella Oren, Millie Gearin, and Rhiannon Griffin in the starting 15 for that one. And then we went down 26-14 against England with Fionn Davies in the starting 15 and Stella Oren and Rhiannon Griffin on the bench. Onto the final day, the 70-minute match, we played Italy, and we won our second game.
Hey!
41-22. So, a nice victory. But, 70, why play all the other games 35 and then the last one 70? I don't understand it. Just play them all 35 so you can have a nice rounded off table or whatever. And for that game, we had Fionn Davies starting and Stella Oren and Rhiannon Griffin on the bench. Now, I do plan on watching these games at some point, and if I do it within the next week or so, I'll tell you how they went. But on to the male players now. So the Six Nations competition with 8 teams. This is the one with the 8, right?
And how many games does each team play?
They play 3 games over 3 rounds. So they are under 18, so their games are 70 minutes long. That's acceptable. 35 is a bit of a stretch. So we'll start on our first game, where it was England against Wales. A nice, tasty fixture to start it all off. Everyone essentially played in these games. It was a 26-man squad, and you were allowed to name 26 players in your match day. So we had Jack Pritchard, Will Evans, Dom Kossuth, Dean Gwynn, and Carwyn Jones in the starting 15, with Sam Williams, Keanu Evans, and Stephen Jack Jones on the bench.
Keanu Evans, strong name.
Very strong. And this game, it bounced back and forth. It was really, really windy on that pitch. And I mean, the hookers struggled. The kicking was absolutely everywhere. But what surprised me during this game is our most joy came from the pack. Our first try was a pushover. Our second try was a penalty try from England bringing a maul down. Third try was a set play off a maul, 5 meters out. Again, our fourth try again was a line out maul, a couple pick and goals, and then a pop out to go over. And 5 tries, so we scored 5 tries in this. It was a nice little move actually. Another line out close to the line, mauled it on 9-10. It was a nice dummy runner coming through, and Carwyn Jones just popped it off nicely to the winger, and he just went straight through. It was really nice, well worked tries, to be fair. But the scoreline went something like England went 14-0 up. We fought back, got to 14-0, went in half time 21-19 up, so pretty good. We stretched our lead 28-19. Happy days. England crawled back 29-28. Then we got into the lead again, 35-29. Clock's in the red. We've got the ball. Well, not quite in the red. It's probably about 15-20 seconds left. We've got the ball more or less on our own line, and we tried to play it out, and we throw a pass into touch. And what do you think happens from the resulting line out? England bowl over, score, and hell of a set of stones on the kicker because he slotted that, and that was not easy. So England walked away 36-35. But it was some really impressive performances in there from our boys. I'm always going to name Jack Pritchard because every game I saw, he played more or less every minute for most of these games, and he was outstanding in all of them. And he was constantly in the ref's ear about the scrums. It was lovely to see from such a young prop going, "Oh, we're doing this, like that." And then I think there was a line out for one. When I was like, "Come here, a scrum!" He just popped his head up. He was so happy when he said it. It was brilliant. But no, our best player on the day was Carwyn Jones, the young 10, and he made a few mistakes. You can't get away from it. A few restarts into touch, a few penalty kicks that didn't quite make it to the touchline. That is, but it didn't matter to him. He just played his heart out. This lad has got a pretty high ceiling, and this is the time that you want to be basically pushing everything that you can, because this is why he's missing these kicks, because he's going for absolute 99th percentile style kicks, and that's why they're not coming off. But his range of passing and his range of kicking in the game, the chip kicks, the crossfield kicks, the little dinks, he was showing everything. So I think we've got a good one for the future if he can keep this up. And not to mention the other 10 on the bench is also ours, and he's not too shabby either. So we go on to day 2, and we played Portugal. So if you're thinking, Portugal under 18s, are they going to be good? Are they going to be like the national team? Because they're coming on lit, but they've earned their place in this competition. So fair dues to them. We won this one quite comfortably, 35-10.
Nice.
So we had Dom Kossuth, Keanu Evans, Captain Keanu. Oh, I like that. And Stephen Jack Jones start with the rest of our boys on the bench. We had a call-up. So another one of our boys joined up, Kyo James, a Newcastle Emlyn product. He plays for Gloucester. He got injured in that first game and unfortunately didn't feature for the rest of the tournament. But instead, Buddy Port product, Alex Ridgway came up. By God, that boy took his chance. Honest to God, I think being named as a reserve for this tournament must have really riled him up, because the moment he came on that pitch, he was unstoppable. Honest to God, the runs he was making, the meters he was gaining, and something we haven't always been able to say about players down west, they are bloody huge. And I mean, all these back rowers that we got. So there's Kossuth, there's Gwynn, there's Evans, there's Ridgway. They all look like they're at least 6'4". And we've got a couple locks in there as well. We've got Sam Williams and
young men are getting taller.
They are.
6'3" is going to be pretty normal for men soon.
Well, my son's not going to have much chance. I'm barely 5'8" and my wife's 5'4". He's kind of screwed. I've got my fingers crossed he'll get 5'9". I'll be happy with that. Just needs to start eating his food a bit more. Don't eat his veggies, that boy. But no, this game, it started nice and fast. Portugal probably should have had a penalty try in the first few minutes, but the ref said that he was going Portugal player dived for the line. Welsh player came on, basically took his head off. But as there's no TMO and as he was diving, the ref and I was like, "What? He was going down. We didn't quite see it, so it was unlucky they didn't get their first points for there." But we took a 14-10 lead into half time, and then we scored another 3 unanswered tries in the second half. So overall, it was a good victory. Ridgway was my standout in this because he just contributed everything that he could. He was involved in 2 of the tries when he came on, and just making breaks and just pushing people aside. So this boy might be something else. I think he was our under-16s East captain last season, so first year under-18s now. So I think this name might go quite a bit. On to our final match day, where we played France. And for all of you who don't know, France are pretty much top dogs at under-18s level. They have been for a few years. Same as their under-20s, really. They've really invested a lot into the youth, as we all know, over the last 5-6 years, and it's come through massively. But we put up a good show of it. We did score in the red in the end of the second half to make it a bit more respectful. So 43-33 we went down.
Mm-hmm.
And so same again, we had loads of, every single one of our boys was playing. Alex Ridgway getting a start for that awesome performance off the bench. And fair play, our forwards have gone through a lot of work. And it's not often you get to say that as a Scarlets fan or as a Welsh fan in general. And if you're an Osprey, you're like you're an anomaly. I don't know where that's coming from.
That's how I would describe them as well.
But no, we're quite literally.
So it's continuing a bit of a trend, really, that under 18s level, Wales are much closer to other nations than they are at under 20s.
Yeah, we are. We seem to be really, really good, and not just in the fact of close games, as in the style of play. We're actually playing a bit of rugby. Now, Richie Pugh is the head coach for these under-18s, and he's got some pedigree behind him. We know his professional playing days. Sevens world champion. I can remember watching that game when I was in school. It's bloody awesome. Teachers didn't like me on the laptops, but yeah, he's done something, and I'll be honest, I think Scott Sneddon deserves a bit of credit for this work as well, because obviously, 9 boys in a 26-man squad, and a lot of them are forwards. We've only got 2, so 7 of them are forwards, and they are featuring heavily in these games, and we are a forward-orientated team. But no, some of the tries we scored, it was a 5-meter tap and go. Couple of phases, boom, Will Evans, one of ours went over. This one was really nice because it was Stefan Emmanuel, the boy that's coming back to Cardiff. He was literally on the 10-meter line, and he just made a lovely break, 1-2 with the fullback to our fullback to beat the last man, and he just walked in. It was a nice move to watch because it was as though he'd set it up. Another one was a line out Molde, got a couple pick and goes, and then boom, Dean Gwynn scored, so that's another one of ours. 4th try, this was probably the pick of them, even though I like that Stefan Emmanuel try. This was the pick of them. Francis throw on the halfway. They overthrow. Kossuth catches the overthrow, and he just darts up the field. He makes about 25 meters up there. Everyone is with him. Quick ruck ball. All hands out as far as you go, and a winger just trots it in from about 20 meters out.
Beautiful.
It's lovely. It's lovely to see. If there's highlights of it, the 3rd game against France, I highly advise you to watch it because it's a lovely try to see. And then the last one was Alex Ridgway, 5-meter tap and go. There were no phases required for this. This boy just smashed his way through the line on the first attempt. Now, I think we need to remember, I know I've said it already, but from these couple of performances I've seen, all these boys got a good chance of making it, but Alex Ridgway is a name you don't want to forget anytime soon. That basically rounds up everything I've got on community and age grade rugby. So I think we should probably start talking about the Scarlets now.
Let's do it. So where did we say we'd start? We were going to start with the accessibility thing, weren't we?
Yeah, the accessibility and inclusion update, which didn't come from the Scarlets themselves. It came through the Scarlets official supporters group, which has never happened before. We don't know why. I mean, I know how it's happened, but we don't know why it's quite happened like this. But that's a conversation for another time. But I'm pretty proud to say that as a board member of Crease, that majority of these implementations came from another board member, Sarah. She is our disability and inclusion officer. She met with the Scarlets quite a few weeks ago now, and she gave them a load of stuff on how to improve things. And this list basically runs off most of them. The ambassador was done a little bit a while ago. I think the guy's name is Lloyd. Disability and inclusion ambassador to be specific. The music volume being turned down. This is something that everyone in the South Stand has been mourning at for years. And I mean, I can go back, before COVID, and we were mourning about the sound of the PA system. A couple of things the club have been doing regularly on their own anyway was things like the odd sock day for World Down Syndrome Day. I believe that one was.
Like that.
And the stuff the hub officers have always been doing, so your inclusive community clubs, your wheelchair rugby, your walking rugby, and they started doing disability festivals and mixed ability festivals as well, which is nice to see. Gives absolutely everyone an opportunity. And the last one,
does that include people who are absolutely rubbish, so I could get a game?
Yeah, anyone. I mean, you'd have to travel a bit, but
it's a bit of a trek.
Yeah, just slightly few. And then the other one was the Sporting Memories group that was set up a while back. Now, on to the things that have actually changed, that have been brought about from these meetings. Because all the rest of the stuff I just talked about has been in the works for months or years. So players visiting the wheelchair gallery pre-match. Obviously, you're in a wheelchair, you can't get into the shop. The barn is a nightmare to get into because of the flooring and everything. So, the players coming up to the gallery before the match is just a nice touch. Gives everyone an opportunity to meet the boys. Pre-match stewards briefing is more focused on now is to remember, like the sunflower lanyard for hidden disabilities. It's just a bit of an extra emphasis of look out for it. Remember what it is. You don't know what's going on with people. Keep not an open mind, but be careful.
Show some understanding. Give people the benefit of the doubt.
You don't know how people are going to react to you. Or like my boy is autistic, and apart from his breakdowns, which quite frankly they only happen probably every week or so, which is pretty good. You wouldn't know if there's anything, but there are others who are completely on the other end of the spectrum, which is why it is a spectrum. And they react totally different. And there's so many disabilities. Like my youngest has got something called triple X syndrome, which is a genetic condition where she's got 3 X chromosomes instead of 2. It's called a normal syndrome because physically you won't see nothing wrong with them, but behavioral issues are a massive issue there. So you don't know what's going on with a lot of people. So, just keep an eye out for this sunflower lanyard. If you see it, be mindful. Red code safety cards in disabled toilets. I thought that was standard practice. Apparently not, but this is good to see it's done. Parker Scarlets is now listed on Ewan's Guide, which I believe is a disability website. So of all arenas, sporting grounds for people to have a look beforehand.
Cool.
Simple accessibility guide. So, photos of the facilities, the wheelchair gallery, what to expect before you come. So that's always something nice. So you don't have to turn up at the match and go, I've got to get up 2 steps before I can use my wheelchair, which I know in some places is a bit of an issue. And another one is they're trialing the image descriptors. So on social media posts, so people who are blind or what was it? Vision impaired. They can't physically see everything on the screen or at all. So if someone clicks on it it will read out the text for them. I think you need an extra bit of technology, but if you are someone who's
you need a bit of software,
yeah. But if you are someone who's blind or visibly impaired, you should have that all kind of guessed. And all those ones I've just ring off are all thanks to Sarah Crease. They were all her recommendations. There was another one put in there, It was to follow the British Dyslexia Association's guidelines on how you put out statements. And it seems that was completely ignored, because one of the major ones on it is don't put things on a red background. And as you saw, the moment you saw it, literally an hour ago, you're like, Jesus, I can't even read this. And you're not dyslexic or nothing like that.
Not as far as I'm aware. I'm not the world's strongest reader, but I don't think I'm dyslexic. Yeah, it's not a brilliant form. And, without this turning into the Hugh critiques Scarlets formats podcast, it's not the best format. It's not the easiest to read. It's just very small, thin text on a bright red background. Yeah.
So the other part of the Scarlets we get to talk about, which was actually requested, and I'm quite surprised by that. We don't normally get requests for something like this, is to look at the accounts.
Yeah. Someone wrote in. Now, we're not accountants. We should just quickly say, I did do a module in my master's about finance, and it didn't go very well. So I think I got 40 and the pass mark was 40.
Well,
so
at 18, I was prepared to train as an accountant. I got onto my university course. I turned up in the September, and by the November, I was like, this bores the shit out of me. I'm gone. So, bit of naivety, bit of stupid age stuff for there. But when it comes
I know
to
two guys I was mates with the university, did accountancy courses and dropped out. Must be a thing.
It's so boring, because the first year is basically just how to fill in, how to do double entry, and you're like, you can do that in your sleep. If you've got half a brain, you can do double entry. It's not hard, And oh Christ, I'm probably saying that now, and people probably struggle like hell with them. Really sorry, but no, if you're going on to a course like that, you're obviously pretty switched on with maths, and unless it stimulates you, which this course definitely did not. You're just so bored. You don't know what to do. You're flying through the bloody little assessment tests on the computer. I could give you 30 minutes to do it. 5 minutes later, you're done. You got your 97% pass mark or whatever it is, and you're like, what do I do now? Oh yeah, you're done. You don't have to come back for another 3 weeks. Like, fucking great. Okay, less of that. I can't read, an end of season account like a professional, like we just alluded to. Neither can you, How. But what we can do is look at the numbers and try and make some sort of sense. So Colin Stroud, who was the former financial officer of the Scarlets, was asked to do a review of all the region's accounts. And when we spoke to him through email, he kind of picked up on the number of employees that we have and compared it back to when he was, working for the Scarlets. So in the last few years, we've gone from 140 staff to 201 staff, and then back down to 193.
So this is as of the end of last season. That's not today. That's the end of last season.
That's the 22-23 account. So just to make that clear for everyone, because it can get quite confusing. But when I wrote my little notes by ear, and I'm trying to still make headway with it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting in the fact that they don't separate rugby staff to non-rugby staff,
which the other regions do.
I know one of them did. I'm not sure what all of them did, but I don't see why we don't do it. It's just a little bit extra on clarity, on transparency, so we know what's going on.
Employment is something that I know Simon has spoken a lot about when he's done interviews with other people, and he's made a big point out of how important the regions are for providing employment. So I think this is probably something that the Scarlets would be quite proud of. If you were to ask them, we're proud to employ this many people. So it's not a bad thing to have lots of employees, I don't think. It's just a question of, like you say, if it's not divided into rugby and non-rugby personnel, just from the outside, you just don't know what that is. If it was 50 strength and conditioning coaches, on the one hand, I'd be quite pleased with that. On the other hand, I'd be like, we're not getting money's worth from that, are we? But
No, so another reason why that kind of sticks out is when you look at the overall wage costings. And for the 22-23 season, we spent £11.6 million on wages. And from what I can gather from that season, only 7 million of that was for player wages. Now, that might not be 100% accurate. That's just what I've seen and what I'm going by. So that means that we've got 4.5 million spent on non-rugby staff. So again, without that split, we're kind of sitting here going, well, is that right? You know, when you done it, you worked up the numbers yourself. You know, it was like worked out something like 55 grand per person on an average, and you know this is including the people who are working 6 hours on a match day. You know, in Parker Scarlets. No, we think. So it really boggles us. We kind of can't make heads or tails of it. But, you know, so no, 11.6 seems really extravagant considering, you know, we are just a rugby club essentially. I know we got regional responsibilities, but 11.6 million is a lot.
Yeah, it's you know, for again, people who aren't experts in these things, but it is slightly you do when you do see some of the numbers, you are like, oh, that's a lot. So, you know, we'd have to compare it to other regions and things. Again, it would be nice to have the split in there of playing staff. Did you find the bit that suggested how much was on players?
So no, all I've been able to find is the amount of money that the WRU sent to us, which I think was generally accepted as how much we are to spend on players, which is 6.788 million. So, you know, if that is what we spent on players, so that means the rest of it went to.
There was some good news in there as well, though. So wasn't the sponsorship money was up and revenue was up?
There are some positives. Obviously, you know, if anyone who's seen it, we know we lost nearly £3 million, which is, you know, up over £1 million from last season. But positive news, you know, our member subscriptions were up by 88 grand, so that's nice. Sponsors was up by 91 grand. And, you know, tickets and match day sales, they were up by over 400k. But, you know, we did have those extra knockout games. So is that going to come down next season? Again, we can't really make heads or tails of it. But on the face of it, it does look to be like some positive news in here. There's some really negative ones in there as well, especially knowing the WRU money is going down. Competition money seems to be going down, which I don't understand. But, you know.
I think it's because the South Africans are currently paying to be in the URC, and I think that stops pretty soon. So
that's going to take a bit of a hit then. Yay, less money coming in. What are we going to do? But something that Colin pointed out is that 4 directors receive payments from this season. Now, when you look at these accounts, you'll see that we have 16 directors. Now, again, without comparing to other regions, that seems like an excessive amount. Some of these directors do double up, as in Simon Mudderak, Phil Morgan, Nigel Shaw, John Daniels. So they do double up as employees or former employees in some cases. So it's, again, transparency. It's out there into the world because it's basically Scotto. It's they file in their accounts at the end of the year. They've got to do it. It's just if a fan clicks on it, it's hard to take. And when you see 16 directors, okay, but then it goes at the bottom, quite far down. Then you got 4 directors have taken over 350k out of the club, as in we've paid them. So, what does that mean? Are those 4 directors the ones that are employed by us? Is that their wages? Or, you know, what exactly are these numbers? Because there's no specificity to it, and obviously they don't have to put that in their accounts to the HMRC. But when you've got fans who are going to look at this and be like, "What's going on in this club? It looks like you're kind of running us into the ground." But yeah, I mean, our turnovers down, our losses are up. What's going on?
Yeah, and that's not us saying that, but that is what other fans have said to us after looking at these accounts. That's what we're saying is that is the. You know, again, you know, accounts are very complicated and people don't know about them, but these accounts have been put out into the world. Scarlets fans are looking at them, and these are the things that fans are saying to us, like, what's that about? So the 16 directors one, I think, is the one that makes you go, that's a lot. Now, I'm sure probably a lot of those directors are like they are classed as directors, but are they sat in the boardroom Monday to Friday making the big decisions? Probably not.
No, but no, it's just tricky to get your head around. And what's come out today, literally in the last couple hours, is I don't know if you took part in it, but Crease 16 did a members survey. So
I know.
basically,
I didn't see it.
no, but basically to compile everyone's feelings on the club. You know, how often you attend, are you a season ticket holder, blah blah blah, and it all come back with more or less the same things where we said, you know, I think it was like 50% of season ticket holders have either said no or they're undecided on if they're renewing. So I mean, that is massive. You know, when we're talking almost 4,000 season ticket holders, you know, we're potentially losing 2,000 of them, and most of them point to the on-field performances and the running of the club in the back room. And if you're a member of Crease 16, you would have received these via email in the Monday, somewhere between 6 and 8, I believe. Might be a bit earlier, might be a bit later. I'm not 100% sure on the exact timing. But it's a really good survey because it's basically it's ranking everything, ranking the merchandise, which we know we all hate because the shop has got nothing in it and it's about 3 times bloody more expensive than it needs to be. Just the things about the match day experience, you know, I don't think, other than ticket prices, as in the season ticket prices, I don't think anything came out with above average or positive, which is very indicative of where we are as a club at the minute.
Yeah.
So if any of you are Crease 16 members or you're not already a Crease 16 member, please sign up. Drop an email to info@crease16.wales and we will send those results to you and you can read for yourself. Because going into tomorrow's night, or well, it will be today when this goes out, the supporters update, it makes it even more important that we get some answers for what's going on.
Mm.
Okay, I think that's enough of the Darwinus.
Yeah. Let's do something fun.
Say something fun.
Let's do transfers.
Ooh, transfers.
So
Yay.
no game this weekend. So bit of a subject needed for a bit of discussion, and we decided on transfers. So there's lots of rumors going around.
Yes.
A lot of rumors. So I've had people sending me stuff all day. The rumors that I've got noted down are second row Jack Dunn from Exeter, loosehead prop Alec Hepburn, Scotland international, also from Exeter, Max Douglas, second row Australian, currently playing in Japan, and then potentially multiple props from the Emirates Lions in South Africa. So let's do the Lions ones first then. What was your reaction to the talk of us getting props from the Lions?
No, please no, because they've named the 3 that have apparently been offered to us. And all right, they're tidy, but they're all like 33 plus. And the fact is, the reason they're going is because the South African, the Big 4 and the Curry Cup teams are no longer clashing. So they
don't need as many players.
They don't need half as many players anymore. And so these have basically been told, you're not good enough for the Lions. You're not good enough for one of the Curry Cup teams. Oh, I know, Scarlets. So that's where my mind automatically goes. Unless it was someone who was currently a South African international at 33 years old. No, I'm not interested. If they were like I know Alec Hepburn is 31. I think.
I didn't know that. Wow.
He's probably on the older side for me in this terms. Like if we're bringing in a foreign prop, I'd like them to be 29. 29 is probably my cutoff age because you want them to be around for a couple of years and also to be able to build the younger players. Well, I look at things as
that's the thing is about Alec Hepburn. If we're moving on to him, because and it's been written about like it's a major coup, and he's a current international player, and he probably is a great player. My issue is not that he's bad. I haven't watched much of Exeter, I'll be honest. It's that if you're going to sign a non-Welsh qualified player, why sign a Scotland international? Like, I know, look, we've had really good success with Scots playing at the Scarlets. Obviously Alex Craig has been probably our player of the season this season. John Barclay in the past captained us and fantastic as well. But John Barclay wasn't playing for Scotland at the time that he signed for us. So in terms of availability, it's kind of having a Scotland international and having a Wales international is pretty much the same from the Scarlets' point of view.
Yeah, it's going to be because we're going to miss them all during the autumn. Even though we haven't got games, we normally have that game week where Wales play their fourth international. I
Yeah.
suppose we would still have access to him for that one.
We'll probably be playing Cardiff, let's be honest.
That's how it generally tends to work at the minute. But yeah, so there's that one game that we'd have him, and then the follow weeks of the Six Nations, we'd get them back. But I'm not a big fan of that. Like with Alex Craig, obviously he only went up for a training session for week 3, so he was with us for the first game, trained for a couple of days in week 3, and then came back down to us. So he was literally only missing for 3 days. I don't mind that. You know, that he was still within our system for a long time. But picking up a current international, a current European, a Six Nations international, it doesn't seem like a lot of sense is there, because especially if there's someone in a position like Alec Hepburn, a prop, a back row, a hooker, these are attritional positions. Players get injured a lot, and you've got to manage them, especially when you get to 30 plus.
Yeah, and just talking about loose heads generally. So in last summer we lost Alex Jeffries, Price, and we've recently it has been announced that Steph Thomas has gone to the Ospreys. So
Can't believe that. That's something I want to ignore totally.
Yeah.
That video never freaking happened, dude.
Yeah.
Travesty.
So that leaves our current loose head options, senior loose head options, as Wyn Jones and Callum Mathias, with Sam O'Connor also weighing in the wings. But it's rumoured that Wyn Jones is off either to Gloucester or Bath, are the 2 places that I've heard.
Yeah, I'm hearing lots of things regarding Wyn Jones, and it's not positive. So I don't want to shine a dark light anymore on the Scarlets. No, apparently Wyn Jones is leaving, not by his choice.
So we definitely need to sign a loose head.
Yes, 100% need a loose head. If Hepburn is the man, then so be it. I don't think it's going to work in the long term, just because his age and the fact he's with Scotland. We're going to lose both Mathias and Hepburn, which will leave us with Sam O'Connor as our senior tight head, and then Josh Morse behind him. While Josh is a brilliant prospect, he's done really well for the under-20s, and the couple of games he's played with Llandovery since returning from injury, he's not ready for this step up. I mean, season after next, maybe, but he's still 19 years old. You don't want a 19-year-old prop coming into play against bloody proven, bloody professional players and potentially former internationals, because that's what you get. You're with Irish provinces and Scottish provinces. You're either an international or you're a former international. There's generally not that much gap in between.
Yeah. So definitely loose heads needed. Now, I did a poll on Twitter, on the Scarlets Fever Twitter account, asking which area did we need to make signings in, and front row was the most voted for area, with 58% of the votes said we needed to sign front rowers. So if we go on to tight head, you can understand why Wyn Jones has been covering tight head this season, because it's Sam Wainwright and Harry O'Connor, who's just signed a contract extension, are the only people in there. I mean, we've got Joe Jones has come in
from Sale, a tight head from Sale. Come on.
Was he just signed for this season, or is he?
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, he's just come in for basically the rest of the season. He was essentially Samson Lee's emergency replacement.
Yeah. So in terms of tight heads that we lost last year was Javon Sebastian, John, and Samson Lee as well.
Yeah.
So they're gone. So we are looking thin in the propping departments. Hooker, we're not really looking thin. Assuming that Ken is off, we've got Swartz to the end of this season. We've obviously got Ryan Elias, Sean Evans, we've got Isaac Young and Lewis Morgan coming through, and we've got Van der Merwe has signed.
You've
next
forgotten
season.
him. You've forgotten my boy, Harry Thomas.
Harry Thomas. Oh, sorry. Yes, Harry Thomas. So we're good for hookers.
Yeah, I mean, Harry Thomas, Young, and Lewis Morgan, they are, 18, 19, 20, respectively. I say respective. I don't know what order I just said them in. But yeah, they're still young. They're probably looking at the breakthrough season in the next couple of years. So Ryan Elias, Van der Merwe, and Sean Evans. That's decent. You got your three main, and then we got three academy players in hooker. So you don't always get three players in the same position in the academy, which is quite nice to have.
Yeah. Okay, so I think hookers we're happy with. Now lock. Now second row is an interesting one. I'll tell you why. So when people say Scarlets signings, or where do we need to strengthen? First thing everybody says is we need more bulk in the second row. We need powerful second rows. But I would argue that second row is one of our strongest areas at the moment in the current team.
Yeah, I think it's just we don't have that proper enforcer, that player who was like Jake Ball. People have been crying out for that type of player, and whilst we have got big ball carriers now in Alex Craig, Morgan Jones, and Jack Price are both developing nicely. Obviously, we've still got Sam Lowsey. Will he be here? Will he not? We're hearing rumours both ways. We're hearing rumours out of our arseholes, honestly, and some are from people
that is something just to jump in and say about transfer rumors is that every single piece of news that we ever hear about the Scarlets, we hear about not from the Scarlets first.
No,
like the Scarlets are not good at keeping secrets.
No, this is an issue that being part of Crease 16 that we have that we've been trying to talk about, and the fact of all your communication doesn't come through your official channel. It comes from someone else. Like I understand, letting the media hype someone up a little bit or get people excited with a major signing, but absolutely everything. And then you've got people who apparently work for the club posting on forums saying things, and then it comes true, and you're like, oh my god, shit, we can actually listen to this guy. And then they say more stuff, and it just carries on till a donkey comes on, man. It's a serious issue. But in terms of locks, should Lowsey stay? I mean, unless we're bringing a hybrid, as in
we've been
lock 8, not a lock 6.
That's it. Because if you look at, I was saying this on Rap. If you look at like who we've got, our two starting locks at the moment are Alex Craig and Sam Lowsey, obviously non-Welsh qualified. We've apparently already signed Max Douglas, who's Australian, and we've also apparently already signed Jack Dunn from Exeter, who is, I can't remember where he's from. He might be Australian as well. I can't remember, but he's not Welsh. So we're currently, as far as we know, we've got 4 non-Welsh qualified locks, and you've also got Plumtree and Fafita there as well. Now, Plumtree obviously is a Welsh international. He's not homegrown, but we love him. And you've got Fafita, who can play lock.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you touched on Plumtree, because he's effectively going to be a brand new signing next season, based on how many games he played. But no, I haven't heard that Dunn has signed, done and dusted. I've heard lots of rumours about him, for quite a few months. But I haven't heard anyone come out and say, yeah, it's a done deal, bang, it's done.
Right.
But, whereas we have, whether there's been a tight head, I've heard that we've signed, a nobody from Australia. And I say nobody, I mean as in, I don't think he's even played Super Rugby. Like, I can't even remember the guy's name. That's how big he is. So it's an intriguing one, because if both of them are to come, I would assume that they both come in as time servers, as in they will eventually be qualified for Wales, because I don't believe either of them are capped internationally. And
don't forget, by the way, we've got a guy called Ed Scragg on the books currently, who hasn't, I don't know what rugby he has played at all this season.
Either the Quins or Drovers, I think he's played about 4 games. But that goes back to what we were saying at the beginning of the pod. We don't understand the player release and the usage. But yeah, again, but Oh, we had another one last season. He signed with Ewan Shenton. Oh, another lock. I can't remember his name now. Oh, that's gonna bug me right. I think he went to Amptill or something. But no,
We've lost last season. We lost Tom Price. We lost Josh Helps, and we lost. Is it George or Gareth Evans?
what?
I've just got G Evans as a lock that we lost. It's in my notes.
G Evans. That might be the one I'm on about, but I can't remember his first name. I don't think it was George or could it be Gareth? I'm really not sure.
If you let's dig out the Scarlets Levers thing. This is my spreadsheet from the beginning of the season. So locks, we have locks. And we have players who can play lock. Having so many non-Welsh qualified, I mean, we're on the verge of having a full non-Welsh qualified type five.
Yeah.
Which is
Well, we will. We will by all accounts because you know Stefan Thomas, as much as I don't like some of the things that people in Wales Online write. I don't know if he's one of the better ones or whatnot, but generally when he talks about signings, he's generally right.
yeah.
So we'd have Hepburn, Van der Merwe, this supposed Australian one, and then we've already got Craig and Lousy should he stay, and then Douglas, and then done. So we will have a non-Welsh front five, and if it works, it works. But
So onto the flankers then. So there's obviously Fafita, Dan Davis, Josh McLeod.
whoa!
What?
No,
What?
Fafita is not a flanker. He plays 8.
Okay.
We're talking flankers, not back row. Get it right.
So there's Dan Davis, Josh McLeod, Ewan Shenton, Ben Williams, and then we signed last season Tame Plumtree, Teddy Leatherbarrow, and we signed Jared Taylor as well. Don't forget about him. Fafita is another one where there's some rumours saying he's staying, some rumours saying he's already off. We lost Aaron Shingler, Reese, don't remember him. Blade Thompson and Thomas Lozana. And of course, the rumours about Tame Basham are still ongoing, although it's now starting to sound more like he's staying at the Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, strictly flanker, we are well stocked. We know Jared Taylor's here next season. Ben Williams just signed a new contract. Dan Davis has signed a new contract. Plumtree only signed last season. I'm assuming he signed a pretty
multi-year. Yeah. He's not going anywhere.
So, 6 and 7, and my only issue with 7 would probably be, did Teddy Leatherbarrow sign a 1-year deal as an academy player? I hope not, and we can tie him down a bit longer. There's only one player in amongst that, and that's Josh McLeod. And I've got a heavy heart when I think of Josh McLeod because he is an excellent player, but he's barely fit.
Yeah.
So, and this is something I'm in an area when we re-signed Dan Davis. He's been fairly. We know back row is probably the most injury-prone position to play in, but some players
there's levels.
Yeah, same as Aaron Shingler did eventually go that way, but he was in his 30s when that happened. There was more than one reason during his 20s he was fighting fit for the whole lot, but we've got young boys, mid-20s who are injured a lot. And I don't think it matters how good of a player you are if you're only turning up twice a season.
No, the best ability is availability. I think, that's all of the rumours, that's most of the rumours. So I think in the forwards, there's loads of players who've been linked with. For me, it's difficult to say if a signing's any good or not until we know who's leaving.
No.
So I can't say if we're keeping Lousy and Fafita, I can't say that Dunn and Douglas are good signings. That to me is adding depth in a place that we don't need depth.
Same as Wyn Jones going, but Alec Hepburn coming in. I mean, yes, we've replaced an international with an international, but Wyn Jones was a level above. He was a lion. He was that standard with Hepburn. He's not. He might potentially get there one day, but if Rob Baxter thought he had that potential, he wouldn't be leaving.
That's true. So it's all these could be great signings. To be fair, we put the question out on our Facebook group, which is a lot of hardcore Scarlets fans, and said, "Who would you sign?" And pretty much the unanimous answer was the problem isn't the players. Like maybe they don't put the effort in, but the quality isn't the problem isn't that we don't have quality players. We've got quality players. It's that they're not playing very well.
No, we don't. It's just they're not getting selected regularly. We don't understand the selection. We don't understand why some players are playing, why some players are not, why you're giving opportunities to youngsters. They play awesome, then you drop them.
Yeah.
It's just no sense being made.
So moving on back then. So the only out and out number 8 that we have is Carwyn Tuipulotu, but there are other players who can play number 8s. Like Plumtree, Taylor, Fafita, obviously Ben Williams can play there as well. So a lot of people obviously still pining for Callum Mahoney, and we wouldn't turn down one of them if the one came along, but it's not for me. It's not. A lot of people disagree with it. A lot of people say we need a Callum Mahoney proper out and out replacement for him. I don't think it's. I think we can come up with a way of playing that doesn't rely on that, because the Callum Mahoney thing did backfire in a few games because it was so predictable. Because teams just knew, like, oh yeah, Callum Mahoney's going to carry it. I don't know. What's your take on that?
I like a big ball carrying 8. I think someone more in the mold of Kasim would be better off for us. Someone who can truck it up, but has got a bit of a bit of hands, a wider repertoire of skills. I think we're probably one of the best 8s we've had in recent years. And I hate saying this because I think he's a fucking traitor. Is Ben Morgan. He had everything, and we give him everything. We signed him as a nobody. He had David Lyons. What do you have, like 60, 70 caps for Australia? We had him tutored him for years, and then when he finally comes good, he buggers off. But no, the skill set that Ben Morgan had and the skill set that Kasim had, I think that fits in with our style of play better. They're capable of being that truck, but it's not.
I think Jared Taylor could turn out to be that player.
Yeah,
we haven't seen much of him.
I know we've only seen 40 minutes of him, which again, no sign in, 40 minutes injured. Is this a Scarlets thing, or I don't know? Yeah, I think we do need to sign another 8, because as great a physical potential that Carwyn Tuipulotu has, he's not showing any signs of even coming close to making it up. Like, he had a couple of decent games last season. I was like, yeah, that was really good. If Phil breaks like that, you keep on doing that, happy days. But he just hasn't. And again, he started to get injured a fair bit. And he's still a young player, so he's starting to get into that category of being injured more than he's fit. And I think he's a player that's up for renewal as well. So I wouldn't, if we were to sign another 8, I wouldn't be too surprised to see him leave.
Moving on into the backs then. So we know that Kieran Hardy is off. It's not confirmed, but it's...
Might as well be.
Might as well be. We signed Evan Jones in the summer. Obviously, Dane Blacker also left. What?
Evan.
I have said Evan, and you corrected me. Anyway.
No.
Yes. So Dane Blacker left last season. Kieran Hardy's already gone. Evan Jones is in. We're pretty well stocked at scrum halves. I'm not worried about scrum halves, to be honest.
Well, we've only got 3.
And
2 are not exactly like, okay, Archie has got tremendous potential.
What about Harry Williams as well? Is still on the books for us, isn't he?
Nope. He left last year. He's off to one of the championship sides. That's something I was about to say now. I'd hope to think that we still got contact with Harry Williams, and he might pop back over. But no, we've only got, assuming Hardy is leaving, which I believe everybody is, including him and his missus. We've only got Cowdo, who this will more than likely be his last season, 24-25. And then it's on Archie and Evan. And, as solid as Evan is as a player, I don't think he can be better than third choice for us. I think we need a standard above.
Okay, then. So maybe we need a scrum half in. I can tell you that only 1% of people in our poll voted that we needed to improve the halfbacks, which is interesting. 84 votes on that now. 24% of people say we need to sign second rows.
I mean, going into outside half, it's how you assign these players. I mean, I think you were settled on this as well as I am. Johan Lloyd is not a 10.
Yeah.
So that's 110 down. Um, Again, I'm hearing lots of rumours surrounding Dinky, where there was a contract on the table, it's been taken away or whatever. And again, we don't know the length of the contract that Charlie Titcombe signed. So, assuming that Lloyd reverts to 15, where he should, we could effectively be left with just Costello. And now I know I literally just raved on about a couple of 10s in the under 18s. They are
Not ready yet. Yeah. If we skip to fullback, then I didn't realize just how dire straits we were in at fullback.
Oh yeah,
because
with Johnny Mack going,
we don't have any out and out fullbacks. Like our fullback options are Tom Rogers, who for some reason doesn't get picked there, Johan Lloyd, who I think is a fullback but doesn't get picked there, and Johan Nicholas, who is getting picked there, but I don't think is his best position.
Yeah, we've also got Tommy Lewis, who played there a lot for Jersey before coming back. So we've got wingers who can play fullback, and we've got a 13 who can play fullback. That's really all it. And I think something that the Scarlets may have been counting on for next season is for the 15 that played in the Exeter friendly, Jack Davis.
He played well, didn't he?
Played outstanding. Apparently he's the reason for majority of our points, the breaks that he was making. But during that game for Llandovery against Newport, I still haven't had confirmation. I haven't seen anyone confirm it anyway. But it was feared as though he had a broken leg, so that's going to be a tough recovery. So we really are in supreme dire straits at fullback.
It kind of snuck up on us, that one, because we weren't really aware. But Tom Rogers is basically the only fullback that we've got on the books at the moment, and he's been playing on the wing. In terms of wingers, we've got Ryan Combe, still got Steph Evans.
Yeah, but again, we don't know the contract status. So I know both of them, Combe and Steph Evans, they signed ahead of the 22-23 season. So if they've signed a 2-year contract, both of them are up. Tommy Lewis, obviously, we know he would have signed more than a year. 100% he would have signed more than a year deal. And then we go into our academy players. So, Callum Williams, I have no idea what's going on with this kid. He doesn't play for the Drovers. He doesn't play for the Quins. He doesn't play for anybody. He doesn't play for the Scarlets. Has never been a part of a Scarlet squad in my memory. But he's always around the barn as one of the players to come and meet. I know he had a nasty injury a couple of years back. I think it might have been an ACL. But I think I'm going back like 2 years now. So, but I haven't seen him play. I haven't seen him even close to the first team. Even
Max Page might be another one as well, because he's playing for the 20s. He's part of our setup.
Yeah, I think they're going to push him as a 13 because I think that's where he wants to play. I don't necessarily think that's his best position, but that's what we are. And another winger that we do have, which played yesterday in the Llandovery final, is Kian Abraham, and he looks a big lad. He trucks it up pretty fast too. So I'd say he's very much a similar style of player to Tommy Lewis. So I mean, I wouldn't be too bothered if we had two players like Tommy Lewis on either wing for the season. But it's about covering your bases. It's just making sure you've got cover. And I don't think we do have any cover at the minute until we get some signing news and leavers news.
Well, that's it. So if we go on to the centres, I mean, Jesus, I mean, so the rumor is that Johnny Williams is going to Gloucester, which is a bit of an odd one. Like Gloucester are trying to build a full Welsh 15, I think.
Yeah.
I think Max Llewellyn will be back at Cardiff at some point, probably sooner rather than later. But yeah, so the rumor is that Johnny Williams is going to Gloucester.
Yeah, I've heard of him going to Bath as well, which I don't know where I heard that from, but I think I've heard of him going to all three West Country teams, Bristol as well. But I think that might just be someone saying, "Oh, he's from Somerset. He's going to sign for one of them teams," you hear rumours out your
Well, he
ass.
was at Newcastle before us.
Well, yeah, I know that doesn't make sense.
Um,
He's from the southwest and he goes and plays up in the southeast. A base so far southeast, he's almost Scottish.
Northeast.
Northeast, sorry, my bad.
So if I just read down the centre options, John Fox and Scott Williams,
Who are most likely
would
retiring or
expect them
leaving.
not to be around next season. So that's the first three names in my centres category gone. So that leaves us with Joe Roberts, Eddie James, and Johan Nicholas as our centre options.
I mean, if we're only playing 6 games, yeah, why
Yeah,
not? No, I could deal with that. But we're not playing 6 games. We're playing at least 20. Okay, what am I saying? At least 22. We're playing 22. Um, we need more centres desperately.
we desperately need to sign centres.
And like even talking Max Page, he's first year senior rugby, same as another centre that was involved in the under-20s, Gabriel McDonald. He's a 12 from all the selections I've seen. He's first year senior rugby. So we've got a lot of boys who are first year senior rugby or, last year youth rugby.
There are
A lot of
good
centre.
Welsh centres knocking about. Like the likes of Bryn Bradley and what's his name, the outside centre whose name I've just forgotten.
Hennessy.
Louis Hennessy is. They're not getting much rugby in England, but you suspect that there are plans in place for them because they're both such good players. To me, this is where I'd be looking to get a non-Welsh qualified player in to get the next Hadley Parks.
Yeah. Not even a Hardy Parks. Just get someone.
Get a Paul Asquith. That's who we need.
Yes, that'd be a nice sign then. Someone who can play comfortably at 12 and 13, I think, is what we need. You don't see many of them. Johnny Williams started looking like that type of player. And obviously now we're hearing rumours of him going. So, and I know I said this earlier in the season on the pod. If he goes back to England and he doesn't bother playing rugby for 3 years, he's fresh in line to play for England in the next World Cup. Whether that will happen, highly unlikely. But it's an option for him, which you can't rule out. I mean, it's not exactly been a great time down playing for the Scarlets. And what other Welsh region is going to sign him?
No, like I say, I think there's loads of centres going around in Wales at the moment. I don't think anybody's. I think we're pretty much the only region scratching our heads going, where's our next centre coming from, to be honest.
I think Dragons might potentially be looking because we got the news Jack Dixon has retired today.
Yeah, but he wasn't playing for them anyway. But they're really excited about their youngsters like Anaya and Owen and Woodman as well. They really like.
I like Owen, but he's not quite a youngster anymore. I think he's been around for a good few years now.
Anyway, so centres, we definitely need to sign players in. So that's the whole team. It's odd that all of our signings for incomings have been in the forwards, and there's no rumours. I don't know if you've heard any different. I haven't heard any rumours about bringing in backs, but backs to me is the area where we urgently need to make signings.
Yeah, I mean, we need to announce the renewals first for a bit of clarity for fans' bloody minds. It's just been Easter. We've got 2 weeks of no rugby. Keep us alive with news. Just slam out the contract signings. I mean, he was supposedly done,
I mean, how long ago did we interview John Daniels? And he said that in the next few weeks it'll be coming out.
Oh, I know. That was like 2 months ago now.
Mind you, the Scarlets did tweet, yes, there's news coming up at the end of the week the other day. And then it got to Sunday and we were like, where's this news then? And they were like, oh, no, it's not happening. Oh, right, great.
No, there's so many players that we don't know the contract status of, so it's hard to tell. I mean, just looking off my little sheet by here, I've got it color coded. I got red for staying, green for going, yellow. I haven't got a fucking clue, and there's more yellow than anything. Just looking outside backs, I've got 5 players that are definitely staying. You can't run a team with 5 outside backs. It's just not going to work.
And we were supposed to have gone through the pain already. So since the end of last season, we've lost 22 players. So that includes, I'm including Steph Thomas, Johnny McNichol in that. We have signed 13.
13.
So Swart, Van der Merwe, Joe Jones, Ed Scragg, Alex Craig, Tame Plumtree, Teddy Leatherbarrow. You still there, mate?
Yeah, I'm still here, but
Tame Plumtree, Teddy Leatherbarrow, Jared Taylor, Evan Jones. Oh no, sorry, I've got Harry Williams in the wrong bit. So yeah, only 12 signings.
I was going to say,
Evan Jones, Johan Lloyd, Charlie Titcombe, Tommy Lewis. And we're rumoured to be signing 5 or 6 more.
More locks.
Yeah, more locks. So that's more than a full team will be new through the door in the space of a year. And we've lost more than lost nearly a match day 23.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a case of we had a new head coach at the start of the season, then I'd be like, all right, he's building his own team. But that's not the case. I mean, Christ, we can go on about Peel and all that till the cows come home. But we're hemorrhaging players is the end result of this. We know the new salary cap as such is having an effect. But, we've got some very handsomely paid players come into the end of the contracts, the old NDC contracts, which for some reason they were given stupidly long lengths. And, we've just been left to pay for them when the WRU decided we're not paying for them anymore. So,
yeah. So
apparently there's a good million pound of wages that are disappearing at the end of the season, from just a few big names. And, if we're talking 5.2 mil, that takes us down to 4.2. And that's without the regular players that go. I mean, my main issue is we don't have any clarity on anything. I'm not asking to know how many pennies to the dot each player earns, but the salary bandings were put in by the WIU, which were so far fetched. It fathoms belief. But we need a wage system, a structure, a progressive ladder for players to climb up on. And not end up, I've had my first cap now, when you're just thrown in a squad doing, warm-ups or doing a Lions tour. Yeah, use an extra 70 grand on your contract. Things like that, we can't do things like that anymore. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. I think the thing going through that for me is confirmed. Like we need centres, we need a fullback. I tweeted during the weekend that if I could sign any player in the world right now, it'd be really Leroux, because not only is he a great player, but he takes so much pressure
7-1.
Sorry?
7-1.
7-1, yeah. He takes so much pressure off the rest of his team, and he would be a leader for us and things like that. So I can also tell you that I tweeted 2 hours ago, would you take Jake Ball back at the Scarlets to the masses? And 91% of people said yes. That's 127 votes.
Yeah, it is. I'll take him back. I'll take him back right now. And we wouldn't need to sign any of these other time-serving Australian, Irish, English. Is he Irish, Jack Dan?
I don't know.
I think he's Irish. I think he came from Leinster. But we wouldn't need to sign any players like that. And we'd have a nice set of locks and like a proper full class, messing with us.
So sorry, I was just going to say that to wrap up transfer talk, it's very difficult to rate any transfer rumours at the moment until we know what's going with the squad. And this season, last thing I'll say is this season was supposed to be about building like the new generation of the Scarlets. If you look at our spine, if you subscribe to the old 2, 8, 9, 10, 15 spine, Ryan Elias is been away with Wales, isn't young, so Sean Evans is probably like our main 2 at the moment. Number 8 is Fafita, who could be off. Like Kawarin Tuipulotu is the young 8, has not been getting the opportunities. 9, Gareth Davis and Kieran Hardy have been sharing that jersey. Hardy is off. Gareth Davis there's something going on there. We don't know what. Archie Hughes has not been getting any game time. Fly half, Johan Lloyd has been playing there. He's not a 10. Costello is the past, present, and future for us, and he's been injured the whole season. And then 15, just a complete car crash.
We need a new squad, basically.
Well, this is what I'm saying. We were supposed to have had the new squad. It was supposed to have happened already.
I mean, there have been positives this season. I mean, we can't argue. Alex Craig has been immense. Teddy Leatherbarrow has been awesome. Ben Williams, even though not a sign-in, he's another young player that's been outstanding. We've got good players. It's just getting them in a structure and a game plan that they can actually play in.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up there, I think.
Yeah, we've spent long enough nattering and chatting. It's probably a hard listen to a lot of people, so we apologize for that. But thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Scarlets Fever podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, rate and review wherever you listen to us, as it really helps us spread the word. You can find us on all the usual social media channels or email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. And remember, whatever the question, rugby is always the answer.
Sports Social Podcast Network.